We're back on the wood pile today. I get up in the morning, I have my first cup of coffee. Normally up here I split a little bit of wood before I start my landscape business day. So kind of, I've said it before, it's a weird thing, but I actually enjoy starting my day like this. I think it's good exercise too to get things rolling in the morning. I try to split what I've stacked. When I was done splitting yesterday, I just walked in some pieces that don't need to go onto the big splitter. So I'm going to do that every day till this pile's gone, and then I'm probably a week away from starting a job. I'm going to be probably bringing home at least a 1-ton load of wood every day, and I want to try to dump that, process it the following morning so that nothing builds. I don't want this to get built up like this again. I haven't got room neither. I got to get into the bark mulch piles and all that, but I just got to get on top of it, and it's the only way it's going to happen. So still got a pretty good charge of wood ahead of me, but we're going to do some splitting this morning, see if we can get on top of it. And this whole pile here too, I'm thinking, I'm pretty confident if I get this split right now, that this will be seasoned before the, I could use this, like I've got my stuff for my normal customers, but last year I had a lot of new customers, and I'm quite sure they're probably going to call me this year. But most of this, a lot of this wood's been down a year to 2 years. It's just I didn't get to it, and it stayed in log length. So it's not, it doesn't dry well as long log length, but I mean it did dry some compared to no, like it ain't like I cut it down last week. So if I split it up small, I think this will be good wood. I try to get my stuff down to 17 to 20% moisture, so we'll see what happens with it. I wanted to show that splits the big wood. I'm just getting sick of lifting it onto it. And it actually, I think, has sped the process up. When I split that on the 40-ton country line in half, or in 3 or 4 pieces, I just throw it there, and then I can, it seems I can split a couple cords of wood quite a bit quicker, so I'm glad I did that. Plus, I got a chance to get wood pretty inexpensive from these tree guys. I'm going to look for a wood chipper that I can ship my slabs and everything. So I want to try to reuse all my waste, so it make it a sellable product pretty much. All right, we'll get back to it. I'm going to grab a few of those rounds and show you that this super split will split those. Normally I already have this fence line filled in, but like I said, I kind of want to get ahead of it. So when I'm on these jobs, if I bring home a half a cord or a cord, I'm going to try to process it the following morning so that I don't get backed up. And once I run out of room on the fence lines, which I'm going to pretty quick here, I want to start skidding it. I have some skids I think I can put a half a cord on. I already did some that were 3rd cord skids. Then I got this pile I'm still working on. As the snow melts, I'm finding more and more logs, like 2 or 3 logs here and there that I left. You never know when you're on a landscape job. Someone will say, hey, while you're here, can you push that tree over and get rid of it? So you end up with a lot of like 3 or 4 log lengths to bring home, and you just end up dumping them to keep them out of the way. Well, as I find them, I'm trying to really clean up what I had. Like some of this wood here is probably it was log length for a couple years. So, but we'll get back to it, and I'm going to show you that this thing will split some of those big chunks. So when I'm done splitting in the morning, what I normally do is stack the stuff back up in there. So I'm ready to go again the next morning. I also want to show like this. This is a piece of wood, the center rot. Even that I'll probably get a couple good pieces out of, but like you don't want to have that in your firewood if you're selling it to somebody. I'll burn that. I'll stick it over near our fire pit when it dries out. A lot of that pine you see in the back stacked up is what we use around here when we have a fire at night or whatever. We have a couple different sitting areas, but like I said, I won't throw that out. But you give that to a customer once and they probably won't call you again. So I want to point that out. And that's something I like about the super split. You can take a piece of wood like that and it's pretty easy to, crack that out. A lot of the wood I'm getting is that first initial stump piece. So that's normally why I'm taking a tree down, is because of the center rot. Also, as I go through this pile, the big stuff, I'm going to probably, in the morning, I'll probably start my day splitting some of these big chunks up and start working those. As I pick through the small stuff, I'll roll these big ones forward. That's pretty nasty that's going to be nasty to split with a small splitter anyway, some of this. A lot of good wood sitting there though, and some of this stuff I get pretty reasonable. So sometimes, most of the time free actually. So, but there's a lot of good wood there, and I don't mind taking the time. Like I said, this is kind of my zen area. There wasn't a lot of oak in this whole pile of stuff, but when you get into the oak, when you're doing it with this super split, you split around the outside edges, and that's how I end up with my barkless oak. And like I said, you throw it aside. Normally I have way more oak. This is probably the worst load I've put together that didn't have a lot of oak. But normally in a half hour's time I can get a bucket of my tractor, so that I'll throw it to the side until there's a bucket, then I'll get it out of my way, just so I'm not walking over it. But normally, just to show you how my process here works, is when I end up with the centers that are barkless, I'll normally split them up, throw them to the side, and you'll notice I split them pretty small because the center of that tree is the wettest spot. So that will dry, and that will end up being, I had one load left from last year, but that's pretty much what this pile is barkless oak. So that's the only one left from last year. But I always separate my barkless oak, because you get, most of the time I'm getting $75 more a cord for it, which is good. And I guess I put some gas in there this morning. It went the greatest with the way that's running, but we'll see. I'm going to get rid of some of these big pieces this morning. All right, what I'm going to do that much, split it on the smaller splitter. But I kind of want to mix these big chunks into the small stuff I'm splitting this morning. I've also, the only little bit of snow that's left now is underneath this pile of wood, so I'm just trying to get it moved so everything thaws out. Then I'll clean up here. So I still got to put some stone dust underneath this plate and get that so it sits a little more level too. Once I get this cleaned out, I think I'll take the time to clean. There was a lot of ice here that froze up over the winter from rain and stuff. We had a lot of rain that froze up. Horrible winter as far as, not a lot of snow, but what we got was horrible crap. That big pile shrinking, slow but sure. I had a couple hours this afternoon. I have to do some tree work in the morning. I didn't want to get started this late in the day. So I came home and then decided to go get some of this white birch up this. I got two different developments I keep care of that are class 6 camp roads. One's right near my house and another one's probably 5 miles away, but all this birch, and there's some mixed stuff in there too. There's a couple oaks and gray birch, but mostly the white birch took a hit this year. So every time I get a few hours before I start grading roads and stuff like that, ditching them, I normally wait till next month. The second week of May I'll start doing the roads. Everybody's anxious this year because the weather broke, but it's still pretty muddy, as you can see by the ground. But I just wanted to show where we're at with this. And this stuff here is just probably a third of a cord I brought home this afternoon. I'm gonna try to mix. I got so much birch. I'm gonna actually have some straight birch I set aside, but I want to mix this into what's here. So so I just figured we'll show you where we're at this point. The oak, we're getting built up. I'm gonna probably start putting that on a skid tomorrow. But that's where we're at. That's about all the barkless oak I've got out of that hole. I would say there's going to be 12, 13 cords that were in that big pile with what I brought in. But I just wanted to show, skidded that oak up this morning. That's out of all of this. There must have been like 2 or 3 oak trees in that mixture that I had hanging around the yard for the last couple of years. The last couple of years I've just had a lot of oak. This area, Wakefield in general has a lot of oaks. They probably get about 18 to 20 inches round and they get center rotted. I don't know if there's a bug that caused it or what, but the last 10 years I've got a lot of the oak I've got. The first log will be center rotted anywhere from 4 to 6, 8 inches round. Inside it will just be like roof and tar. And then the rest of it's good. You can get a lot of firewood out of it. But I've got that pile here. I've started filling some trailers. You can see up on the hill. I got 2 trailers full. I'm gonna try to put 2 cord in that other trailer today. We'll see. Got our bark mulch bins filled yesterday. I had time to haul a couple of loads. But nothing to do with this video, but it's in the backdrop, so I figured I'd say something. But anyways, we're gonna get to it again. All right, we're back up on there in the wood yard. That big pile is gone. I got probably one more morning of splitting. This is the last of the big chunks. I got to split on the 40 ton. This stuff here looks like big chunks, but that was a log I must have had sitting up there for like a year or two, because they're not real heavy. So I'm just going to split those with the super split. But that's pretty much what I got left. I'll show you. Basically, I just cleaned up around this splitter. So that pile, I ended up with this. I ended up with a third of a cord of oak. Like I said, there must have been only like 2 or 3 logs in there that were oak. But I ended up with a third of a cord there. I'm going to guess there's probably another good close to a cord. I'd already hauled some off that I split, but both those trailers up here have 2 cord on them. I'll probably throw one more bucket on this trailer, but that's definitely 2 cord. I mean, I've used this trailer for a few years, I know. I got a small trailer over there. That's 1 cord there. So, like I said, I think I'm going to end up with just under 13 cords from that pile, plus the birch I've been mixing in. But I just figured I'd show that. I'm starting a job probably next Wednesday, where I'm going to be bringing home probably a 1 ton or 2 load, probably 2 1-ton loads a day for the whole time I'm there. So I'm going to try to cut it 18 inches before I even load it on the truck there, so when it comes home I can just dump it here. But it's going to be, I'm going to guess I'm bringing home 24 to 28 cords of wood easy without even thinking about it. I actually pulled the guy, one of my buddies is going to come in, because it was 1 lot to do a horse barn on, and I think it's going to end up being like 5 lots we got to clear. but we're going to be real selective on how we're cutting it. The guy doesn't want to take down any more trees than he has to. Probably see the video on that. I got my buddy doing most of the big construction, but I'm going to do the driveways, the culverts, do some ditching. I got to do the sonotubes for the barn. We got a set, I think, 24 2-foot sonotubes that the barn sits on, and he wants me to do that with my Mini. So I didn't really want to get involved with it because I got so much other stuff going on, but it's literally like less than 2 miles from my house. I'm going to deal with it. My schedule's getting pretty full at this point. So all right, so that will be it for this video. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. And like I said, I think we'll be doing some more wood splitting stuff. Thanks for watching.